The mirror that should never have left the attic. I don't usually post stories online, but after what happened to me over the past year, I don't know where else to put this. Maybe writing it out will keep me sane. Maybe someone out there has gone through something similar. Maybe someone can tell me how to end this, if it can even be ended. It all started when my grandmother passed away. She'd lived in a massive Victorian house on the outskirts of town, filled with old furniture, dusty trunks, and relics from generations past. The kind of place that felt like time had frozen inside it. I'd always been uneasy there as a kid. Shadows seemed deeper in that house, and sometimes you'd hear noises even when everyone was asleep. When she died, my family gathered to go through her belongings. Most of it was mundane, clothes, furniture, trinkets, but in the attic, hidden beneath moth-eaten sheets, we found something unusual. It was a tall, ornate mirror, nearly 7 feet high, with a frame carved out of dark wood. The carvings weren't flowers or vines like you'd expect, they looked like twisted faces, some screaming, some grinning, some crying. Even covered in dust, it felt wrong. Heavy. As though it radiated something vile. I remember joking nervously, "This thing looks cursed." Nobody laughed. My mom insisted we leave it. "Your grandmother didn't let anyone touch that mirror. She told me once it should never leave this house." But of course, curiosity won. My cousin Mark, who always thought the paranormal was just superstitious crap, decided he wanted it for his apartment. "It's an antique. Probably worth something. Don't be so dramatic." He hauled it away that same evening. The first strange thing happened a week later. Mark called me in the middle of the night, his voice trembling. He said the mirror had been changing. Sometimes his reflection didn't move with him. He'd wave his hand, and the reflection would hesitate before following. Other times, he'd see someone else standing behind him, someone tall, with long limbs and hollow eyes. I thought he was messing with me, maybe trying to spook me because of how unsettled I'd been in the attic. But he swore he wasn't. He told me he hadn't slept in 3 nights because every time he closed his eyes, he'd dream of being trapped inside the mirror, pounding on the glass while something laughed outside. 3 days later, he was found dead in his apartment. The official report said, suicide. Slashed wrists. But here's the thing, his bathroom mirror was shattered from the inside. Glass all over the floor, blood smeared on the shards. No explanation for how that could have happened. And the tall mirror? It was gone. After Mark's funeral, I started noticing things around my own apartment. Whispers. Shadows that shifted when I wasn't looking. Sometimes, just as I was falling asleep, I'd feel hands pressing against my chest, like something trying to crawl out of me. One night, I woke up to find my bedroom mirror fogged over, though the room was cold. And written in the condensation, in a jagged, childlike scrawl, were the words, "Let me in." I threw a sheet over the mirror and tried to convince myself I was dreaming. The next morning, I got a call from my aunt. They'd been clearing out more of my grandmother's things when they found an old journal tucked inside a trunk. It was my great-grandmother's. Most of it was day-to-day stuff, but toward the end, the entries grew frantic. She wrote about how her husband had brought home a gift from an estate auction in the 1920s, a mirror rumored to have belonged to a priest who performed exorcisms. The priest believed the mirror was a prison for demons, trapping whatever was cast into it. But over time, my great-grandmother wrote, she realized the mirror wasn't a prison. It was a door. She described seeing figures in it. Hearing voices. Her children waking up screaming in the night. And then, chillingly, she wrote. It feeds on us. On our fear, on our lives. It will never stop unless someone sacrifices themselves to it. I fear I am too weak. I fear I will damn my family. The journal ended there. Over the next few weeks, things escalated for me. I'd catch glimpses of myself in reflective surfaces, only it wasn't me. My eyes would be black. My smile too wide. My movements jerky. Sometimes the reflection didn't disappear right away, it stayed, grinning, even as I turned my head. I started blacking out. Losing time. Once, I woke up standing in front of my covered mirror, the sheet ripped off, my hand pressed flat against the glass. My reflection wasn't moving. It was smiling. I'm not proud of this, but I begged my mother for help. She broke down and admitted something she should have told me earlier. That every generation of our family had been haunted by this thing. The mirror had been locked in the attic for decades because my grandmother swore if it was ever moved again, the curse would spread. She said it was already too late for me. I don't know how to explain what's happening now. My body doesn't always feel like mine. Sometimes my reflection talks when I don't. I've heard it whispering things, promises of power, threats of suffering. Last night, as I was washing dishes, I looked down at the sheen of water on a plate and saw a face staring back. Not mine. Its mouth moved silently before a voice hissed directly into my ear. One by one, your bloodline will be mine. Starting with you. I dropped the plate, and when it shattered, I swear I saw something crawl out of the shards and vanish into the shadows. I don't know what to do. I barely sleep. I avoid mirrors, but it doesn't matter, any reflective surface is enough. The windows. The black screen of my phone. Even my own eyes when I pass a darkened window. I think it's waiting for me to give up. To let it take over fully. And I'm terrified because sometimes I want to let it. If anyone knows anything about cursed objects, old rituals, or how to end something like this, please tell me. Because I don't think I can hold on much longer. I didn't think I'd be back here posting again, but too much has happened since I last wrote. If anything, I'm writing this as a record in case I don't make it through. After my last post, things spiraled fast. The mirror, or whatever is inside it, wasn't content with just watching anymore. It started trying to pull me in. The first attempt at help. A friend of mine, Daniel, is big into paranormal stuff. He came over after reading my messages about what was going on. I didn't even have to tell him which mirror it was. He walked straight into my bedroom and froze, staring at it. It's old, he said quietly. Older than you think. You shouldn't have touched it. When I told him it came from my great-grandparents, he shook his head. No. This isn't from them. This is European. 19th century at the latest. Maybe earlier. These carvings, he pointed at the twisted faces along the frame, they're not decorative. They're wards. Whoever made this tried to contain something. Not display it. He burned sage, sprinkled salt, muttered prayers he half remembered from a Catholic exorcism. For a few hours, it felt lighter in the apartment. The air didn't feel like it was pressing down on my chest. But that night, it came back. Stronger. I woke up choking, something invisible pressing down on me. When I finally sat up gasping, the mirror was uncovered again, even though we had duct-taped a sheet over it. My reflection was gone. The glass showed only my bedroom, empty. Then the reflection walked back into frame, slowly, deliberately, as though returning from somewhere else. It looked at me, tilted its head, and smiled. Daniel won't come back. The blackouts. The possession is worse now. I'll lose hours. Once, I woke up in my car 2 towns over with no memory of driving there. The rearview mirror had words scratched into it. Closer. I've started locking away sharp objects, knives, scissors, anything I could hurt myself with, because sometimes I catch myself holding them without realizing it. But here's the most horrifying part, when I lose time, my phone camera sometimes turns on. I'll find hours of footage of myself just standing in front of the mirror, swaying, whispering things I don't understand. The language isn't English. It's guttural, ancient. And sometimes, the voice isn't mine. The journal connection. I went back to my grandmother's house. I had to. Something in me knew the answers were there. In the attic, beneath more trunks, I found additional pages of my great-grandmother's journal that must have been ripped out before. These were worse than the ones we found earlier. They weren't written like diary entries, they were warnings. One passage made my blood run cold. It does not merely haunt. It replaces. Slowly. Patiently. Until one day, your family sees your face but not your soul. And you are gone. She wrote about how one of her own brothers disappeared after spending too long near the mirror. How they buried an empty coffin because no one would admit what really happened. But the most disturbing line was the last one. Do not break the mirror. Do not burn it. Do not bury it. Each attempt feeds it. There is only one way, someone must willingly take its place on the other side. The ritual. I don't know why, but I tried. I set up candles around the mirror. Drew symbols from the journal. I spoke words that tasted like ash in my mouth. At first, nothing. Then the mirror rippled, like water. My reflection reached out and pressed its hand to the glass. The surface gave way like liquid. And then it pulled. I fought. I screamed. My hand slid into the glass like it was sinking into ice water. I swear I felt fingers grab mine from the other side. Not just one hand, many. Cold, claw-like. They yanked until I thought my arm would break. But just as I was about to be dragged in, every candle blew out at once. The grip released. I fell back, and the mirror went still. Only, now my reflection doesn't match me anymore. Its movements lag. Sometimes it looks taller. Sometimes its smile stretches too wide, showing teeth I don't have. And last night, I saw someone standing behind it. Not in my room, behind the glass. Watching. What scares me most? I've been reading more. Searching archives, old newspaper clippings. I found a mention of a priest in the late 1800s who claimed he had trapped a demon of the mirror after it possessed a girl in France. The family refused to talk, but the priest disappeared months later. Only his mirror remained. I think this is that mirror. But here's what terrifies me most. I'm starting to hear my grandmother's voice in the apartment. She's been dead a year, but I hear her calling my name. I hear her whispering from the dark corners. It's your turn now. And when I hear it, sometimes I want to answer. I don't know how much longer I can fight this. If my posts stop, you'll know why. Because either I'll be gone. Or I'll be on the other side of the glass, smiling back at you. I should have destroyed it when I had the chance. I should have left town. But I didn't. And now I don't think leaving would matter anymore. Because the mirror, it's opening. The crack. After the first fracture appeared across the glass, things got worse, much worse. Every day, the crack grew longer, spreading like veins through the mirror. Sometimes, late at night, the glass would pulse. Not like a reflection catching light, like something alive, beating. The worst part. The crack weeps. It sounds insane, but I've seen thick, black liquid dripping from it. It stains the floorboards and reeks like rotting flesh mixed with sulfur. If I don't clean it immediately, it smokes and burns holes in whatever it touches. One morning, I woke up and found handprints smeared in that black substance all over my walls. Some were far too large to belong to me. The voices. It doesn't whisper anymore, it speaks. Loud enough that I don't need to press my ear to the mirror. Loud enough that I can hear it when I close my eyes. The voices are layered, hundreds of them at once, chanting in languages I don't understand. And then, beneath them, one voice always cuts through, mocking me, taunting me. Closer. Closer. The door is almost open. I've stopped sleeping in my bedroom, but it doesn't matter. I hear it everywhere now, the kitchen window, the reflection in the TV, even in puddles on the street after rain. Daniel returns. Against my better judgment, I called Daniel again. I told him everything, the dripping, the voices, the cracks. When he walked into the apartment this time, he refused to even look at the mirror. He just stood in the doorway, pale and shaking. "You need to leave," he said. "It's not just after you anymore. It's reaching out." I begged him to help. I couldn't do this alone. Reluctantly, he agreed to try one more ritual, something more dangerous. He said it wasn't exorcism, it was negotiation. The ritual. We set it up at midnight. Salt circle. Black candles. Latin verses. He made me sit inside the circle while he faced the mirror. As he chanted, the crack widened. The liquid poured out like a wound splitting open. And then, the glass opened. It didn't shatter. It peeled back, like a curtain of water. And behind it was not my reflection. It was a hallway. Endless. Dark. And things moved in it. Crawling. Skittering. Too fast for my eyes to catch. Daniel screamed for me not to move. He threw something into the mirror. A bundle of herbs tied with red string, and the things in the hallway shrieked, retreating into the dark. But then, something else stepped forward. Tall. Shadow thin. Its face smooth, except for a mouth that stretched ear to ear. It smiled at me. At me, not Daniel. At last, it said. "The bloodline is ready." The glass trembled. Daniel shouted louder, pouring everything into the chant. For a moment, the figure wavered. The hallway dimmed. I thought it was working. Then every candle blew out at once. Darkness swallowed the room. When the lights flickered back, Daniel was gone. Just, gone. His shoes, his bag, everything remained. But he wasn't there. And the mirror? Perfectly intact. No crack. No drip. Like nothing had ever happened. Aftermath. It's been 4 days since Daniel vanished. His phone goes straight to voicemail. His family hasn't seen him. No one believes me when I tell them what I saw. But I know where he is. He's inside. With them. And the mirror is hungrier now. It doesn't wait for me to approach anymore. Reflections move on their own. My shadow will wave when I don't. My reflection will turn its head while mine stays still. Yesterday, I caught my reflection mouthing something. I filmed it. Slowed it down. It was my voice, clear as day, whispering. Trade. 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 What's next? I don't think I have much time left. The thing in the mirror wants me. It always wanted me. But here's the part one never told you, my grandmother didn't die naturally. I've been digging into old hospital records. She was found in her bedroom, sitting upright, eyes wide open, staring at a covered mirror. They said it was a stroke. But now I know the truth. She'd been holding it back her whole life. And when she finally weakened, it came for her. Now it's my turn. If anyone reads this, do not take antiques you don't understand. If something feels wrong, it probably is. And if you ever find a mirror carved with screaming faces, leave it. Because once it sees you, it doesn't stop. And if you stop hearing from me, then know this. I'll be the one on the other side, smiling back at you. The crack split wide open tonight. I saw Daniel, my grandmother, and faces I didn't even recognize, all screaming, begging me to help. The shadow behind them only smiled, stretching its mouth impossibly wide. The choice was clear, either let it through, or take their place. I pressed my hand to the glass. It was ice cold, like death itself. My reflection reached back, grinning. And then, darkness. If you're reading this, the mirror is still here. Somewhere. Waiting. Don't look too closely at your reflection. Because if you see me smiling back, it's already too late.